Right. What I've got for you this time is a bit of an oddity. I was just having a sort out, and I was going through various USB sticks, and I came across a video that I'd made um, quite a few years ago, doing a little step-by-step tutorial on making one of these fellas, a Martian from War of the Worlds, and I've no recollection of making it. And it's only when I started watching it um, and I started introducing myself by my name and explaining that I did two podcasts. That dates it, effectively speaking, and Blake Seven in character. That I remembered it was a video that I'd done for NeoZaz as a Patreon video. And yeah, so it's all a bit odd, you know. I'm talking to camera, and initially I'm showing you how I'm going about making one of these fellas. So yeah, I rediscovered it. I sent it off to Matt and said, "Do you want to use it?" That was quite a while back, and he said, "Yeah, I could use it, but if you want to go ahead and release it, go ahead." So yeah, what you've got now is something I don't know even know how many years ago it was, but yeah, what this is a little introduction to anybody who didn't know me, who I am, what I do, why I love this story, and how I went about making one of these. I think I might still have him. I can't remember, but I think I might still have the final one. So here we go. This is me from a few years ago, talking about them.
Hello, my name is Eric Moore, and I am the host of NeoZaz's Effectively Speaking podcast. I'm co-host of NeoZaz's Blake Seven in Character podcast. I am also Mystery Models, and I'm a guy who's been making things and sculpting things and creating things in a science fiction, horror, fantasy genres, since I was a teenager. And yeah, many different subjects in many different styles: scratch building, kits, sculpting, what have you. And as I say, many different subjects. One of my favourite subjects, if you listen to Effectively Speaking, you'll know, is H.G. Wells's The War of the Worlds. And over the years, I've made various tripods. I've had a go at different Martians, and I haven't done one for a while, so I thought I'd make a new one. And create video for it to be released through NeoZaz. So if all goes well, if you're seeing this is going to be a series of videos that I'll join together to make one video. And if you're seeing this, it meant it worked. Right now, I don't know at all whether it's going to work or not. And the reason I don't know whether it's going to work or not is the materials that I'm going to be using for the Martian. Before I get started on what I'm going to do, if you can see that, that is an illustration of the Martians by Doré from the 1920s, and this is my favourite ever appearance of the Martians. Very accurate to Wells's description. Basically, it's just a giant octopus with two big eyes, this V-shaped mouth, and 8 tendrils either side of its mouth. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do, and as I say, I've made these before, and I've made them in different ways. I've scrunched together some kitchen foil, sculpted clay over the top of that. I've sculpted over a bowl, put clay over the top of that, just made it out of solid clay. I've done different versions over the years, but I haven't done one for a while. Now, reason for my snazzy gloves is I'm going to attempt it a different way this time. And I'm going to use it, this is also the reason why I've got lots of greaseproof paper here, is I'm going to be using expanding foam, right? And the reason I'm using expanding foam is I saw someone somewhere who used expanding foam for terrain, for wargaming. And he showed about, you get some grease paper, squirt some out, and it makes nice random blobs, which you can then carve into hills or mountains or whatever you see. And I was looking at that and I was thinking, that might be a nice way to go for a Martian, because if it does what I think it's going to do, I'm going to get rounded blobs. And that's what a Martian is, it's a rounded blob. If I get, what I'm going to try to do now, I've never used this stuff before, I keep shaking it. I'm going to squirt out a few blobs, right? Hopefully they're not going to expand too much and go all over the table and down on the floor and over me. And then what I'll do is, I'll find the most Martian-y looking one that I can work with, and then I'll start cutting bits off and adding bits to that. Okay, so this is the basis of a Martian using no nonsense expanding foam, right? In English money, about £5. Right, so never used this stuff before, but you meant to turn it upside down. I'm just going to squirt it. Right, that wasn't much. It's like cream in a can. All right, I'm going to go for a bigger blob. Oh, that's not Martian shaped. I want a blob. There we go. See, that's not bad. It's too tall. All right, let's try keeping him low to the ground. That's more like it. We're getting there, I think. It's gonna look like that. That's not looking an awful lot like that. All right, move you out of the way. Right, what I want is sort of like a teardrop shape. Ah, that's more like it. That's not bad actually. Now obviously it's got too many dips and holes and bumps and stuff like that. But that doesn't matter because I knew I'd have to cut it to shape, but that's not looking too bad. I think I'm going to do one more. I don't know if you can see it on this camera, but I'll do another one. I'll do the teardrop shape first. Well, it's random, all right, but it might be too random. Okay. All right. No idea how long this stuff, used over half a can, I think. No idea how long this stuff takes to set, but I'm thinking this is going to be the one to go for. Yeah, stay tuned for part 2. Well, I'm a bloody idiot. This illustration that I was talking about, it's not Doré, it's Paul. It's even got his name there. This is Paul from the 1920s. His depiction of the Martians, and this is my favourite ever depiction of the Martians, and I get his name wrong. Not a very good fan, am I? Anyway, so there you go. This is the Martian I'm going for, and out of all those blobs of expanding foam, once they set, this is the one that I'm choosing to go with. Yeah, he's set. He grew a few more growths while he was setting, but this is roughly the teardrop shape. Right, so next step is, I'm thinking this area here, see the beak there, I'm going to actually cut it sort of down like that, and either keep that as the beak or lip affair, or maybe then cut that off and sculpt one on. And then his two eyes are roughly above the point of the lip, so I've got to I've got to cut some areas out for the eyes, and then that proportionally, that's about right.
Yeah, and that's about right. Okay. Still in some doubt whether I'm going to keep this. I quite like this because, you know, it's meant to be fungoid, oily fungoid skin. And I quite like all the pock marks and that in there. But in some places there's just too much. And anyway, it's going to go where the eye is. So no, scrap that idea. Smooth coating. I'm sticking with Paul. Right, next bit of progress. Went out and I got some air drying clay. And I've made a couple of his eyeballs, like so, which go inside. As you can see, I've cut out the eye spaces for it. And last time I was drawing around to give you roughly the almost teardrop shape that I want for the Martian. So I've cut it out like so. This is going to be his floppy upper lip when done. And also I've just put a piece of air drying clay on the bottom just to see how it sticks to the expanding foam, and it sticks fine. So next step is cover this completely with the clay to get a more smooth rounded appearance, leaving off the eye areas, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to be cutting them out, putting them in, and when I'm happy with everything that I've done like that, I'll be sculpting eyelids and stuff like that. So this is a big advancement. Next time he's going to look a lot less pitted and holy and more, hopefully, Martian looking. Look into my eye. Right, sculpted him, gone over him with air drying clay, which makes him quite heavy. So that's him done. There's his little V-shaped lip. Other thing I've done is I've carved out for the mouth area, and I've also drilled the holes for the tentacles, 8 each side. They have 16 tentacles, 8 each side. All right, so that's that. Now when I cut that area out for the mouth, I had intended to then sculpt in there, but the expanding foam that I use as the basis is also creepy looking in there. I think I'm going to leave it like that. That looks quite nifty like that. So next stage is some primer, and also then I've got to get the right size cable for the tentacles, which are going to come out like that. Okay, that's his skin done. The oily fungoid skin that H.G. Wells describes in the book. So I've gone for browny tones like so, but also, I mean, I've done previous Martians, and yeah, if you do it in earthy, oily, fungoidy type colours, you end up with something that looks like a baked potato. So this time I've learnt my lesson. So I don't know if you can tell, but in the recesses I've put in a violet hint just to warm the flesh tones up. Yeah, you can see it there and here, and especially in the eye sockets. Obviously these eyes aren't finished yet, but yeah, really wanted to pronounce them. And also I've put a lot of it on around the beak, around the sides, and especially the mouth area. There's the mouth area, and as you can see I've put this warmer colour all the way around that. You can see I've drilled the holes. Did I say that in the last video that I've drilled the holes? Well, I've drilled the holes. So yeah, we've got a much warmer colour down towards the mouth. Next thing is to paint the interior of the mouth and pick out the eyes, and then the tentacles. Now the tentacles I'm going to use just old headphone wire or USB charger cables. They always tend to break in our family, so I've got lots of them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to strip the wire out, so I've got a plastic sleeve, and then put rigid wire in so I can bend the tentacles to the right shape. So there he is. Next time I do one of these, the eyes hopefully will be done, the mouth will be done, and hopefully I'll be almost done on the tentacles. All right, well, his eyes are almost done. I painted the whole eye like a milky yellowy colour,
and then started with the black, and I went further out and further out, leaving the little line that I was going to do, but it just didn't look right for me. So I've gone all black, because in the book they are called dark coloured eyes. So I've gone all black. Next thing to do is just make them incredibly glossy. All right, so that's that. And these are my tentacles, the 16 tentacles. I was going to use headphone wire, but a Martian is 4 foot across, right? 4 foot across. And in the book, the tentacles are described as being the thickness of a walking stick. So I measured from there to there, got a scale. So this fellow is actually going to be 1/8 scale. This is a 1/8 scale model. And the tentacles, if I used headphone wire, would have been too thin. These are pretty much the thickness of a walking stick in 1/8 scale, and these are old USB charging leads that I've cut down to size. Most of them have still got the wire in them because I want them just splayed out along the ground, but a few of them I've removed the wire, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some proper, sculpting wire, put it through so I can bend these into shape, and some of them will be up in the air. And for the end, I've cut them to a point. All right, just because they're not described in the book what's at the end of the tentacles. There's mention of them being that these are their hands. This is how they actually operate things. So there's got to be something at the end, but there's never any mention of fingers. So I've just gone put them onto a point. There's also talk of there's a theory in the book that the Martians actually stand up and walk on these on Mars because the gravity is so much less. So next thing then, and I'm almost done now, is spray these in primer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do in a sort of the same sort of colour scheme as the Martian, but maybe a bit pinker and reddier, if that's such a word. A more, pinky flesh tone. All right, and I think the next time I come back, he's going to be done. And we are finished. Look into my eye. So let's pull back dramatically. There we are. There she is, done. All right, so as I say, I did the eyes just dark, i.e. black, gloss black. And as I've said before, I put some colour in to stop it looking like a baked potato. And what I've also done is, where there is colour, I've also put gloss varnish, all right? And that is, I'm trying to convey that this is a sick Martian. This is a Martian towards the end where the germs have started to take their toll. So we've got weepy bits coming out. We've got the slavering mouth. There's lots of gloss there, as you can see. And yeah, here we go. Here's the tentacles, 8 each side. And as I say, I've used old USB charger leads. Some of them, like this one here, I took the wire out and put in coat hanger wire, apart from the end. So he's boing. So he's bent. I can bend him into a shape and make him more animated. But most of them I left as is, and H.G. Wells says these are basically hands. These are the Martian's arms and hands, but never a description as what's on the end of them, only that they're whip-like. So what I've done is each one I've cut at a diagonal, and where the cabling is still there, I've painted that up just so it looks like there's something functional going on at the end of the tentacles. So there we go. That is the Martian. All right, done cheaply, very, very cheaply. All in all, including paint, well, less than £10. Less than £10.
for a Martian.